Hello, my name is John Brink, and we are on the Brink podcasting from Prince George, British Columbia. Interesting day, guys. It's, I believe, November the 3rd. It's snowing outside. Winter has arrived in Prince George. Some people would say it's a nice time of year. I think it's a bit, have to get used to it, and it's very slippery out and all of that kind of stuff. Today, very important, very interesting guest and a friend. I've known her for quite a number of years, and her name is Jana Phillips. Jana, welcome
Hi.
to the show. Now, one thing that I should mention for our guests, if they're watching you, kind of being careful with your arm, is because you had an operation today.
Yesterday, yes.
And it's still fairly tender, so that if they say, well, what's the matter with her arm? So, anyway.
Yeah, just a cyst removal.
Yeah. Are you okay?
I'm okay. I'm
Yeah.
okay. It's a little bit painful, but
Still now, or
no, it's not. I wish.
yeah,
I wish it was still numb.
yeah,
Not a lot of sleep last night.
yeah. Didn't sleep?
Not well.
No. That's
that
what.
pain is not fun.
Yeah, no,
Right.
I know that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, I appreciate you being
Thank
our
you.
guest, my guest today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your past. You from BC?
Mm-hmm.
From where?
I'm born and raised in Prince George.
Amazing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. Like when I was watching your podcast with Kathy Hansen, and we have a very similar story.
Yeah.
And and then moved away a few times, right?
Yeah.
And so, but Prince George is a city that I say sucks you back. It's a vortex, and
Yeah.
it's a good vortex.
Yeah.
So it's a great place to raise children.
Yeah.
And it's a great place to be, and I think a lot of opportunity here.
Yeah, and Prince George is relatively new, right? To if from a European perspective, or even Eastern Europe or Eastern Canada, was incorporated in 1914,
Right.
which is,
It's real recent.
yeah, by considering, right?
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
and obviously. When I came in the mid-'60s, it was called the boomtown. The normal question was, when did you get here, and when are you leaving? That
That's
type
right.
of a thing.
Yes.
Where now more than anything, it is an amazing city. In terms of how it has all developed, about 80,000 people plus or minus, and then. It has become, as I introduce it, in my opinion, the capital of northern BC. Where I always tell my friends in the south, 80% of the GDP of the province is generated in Prince George. Don't forget it.
Right.
And then we have the University of Northern British Columbia, the College of New Caledonia, and all of this stuff that we have here. The pool, although we can't see it today because it's snowing, but right behind us is a brand new pool.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. My husband actually works for Canfor, so we're going to go for a tour over the weekend.
Yeah, because it was named after Canfor was one of the ones that had the name on
right.
it.
Yeah.
And your husband's name is Ellen?
Alan, Alan Loring.
Yeah. And you have 4 children?
Yeah, we do.
2 boys, 2 girls?
No, one girl.
Yeah.
So
3 boys.
we're blended family.
Yeah.
And Alan and I have been together for almost 13 years.
Yeah.
And so my daughter is 27. She lives in
what's her name?
Sydney. Sydney Hendricks. She lives in Kamloops. She's an actress.
Yeah, she takes a lot from her mom, right?
She does.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like apple tree.
Yeah. Which is very rewarding, right?
And we'll talk more about her after. But then I have a son, Noah, who's 17.
Yeah.
And he's in grade 12 at PGSS, but he also goes to the university already. So
wow.
He's a bit of a scholar. And,
what does he want to do?
He's going to go to SFU, and he's going to do AI, robotics,
Oh, wow.
a lot of math, and
wow.
some engineering.
Oh, wow.
So he's planning on going for quite a while.
It's always nice to know, when you have these young persons that already early in life know, 17, as to what they want to do, where do they want to go, and what does it look like, right?
You know what? He actually, in grade 4,
Yeah.
I picked him up from school, and he had decided that he was going to go to MIT.
Wow.
And I started laughing, and I said, really? So who's going to pay for that? And he said, it's only $140,000 a semester.
Oh my God. You know.
And I was like, well, you better start writing to Google and Microsoft and get some scholarships under your belt there if you're going to go that far. And so, but now that he's older, he's more realistic about what actually is best for him. And
but even at
staying
17,
in British Columbia, he knows. Yeah. And he's known all about doing programming, AI, robotics since he was very young.
As you know, I've written some books, and two of them, and we'll talk about it a little bit later.
Yes.
But the one book that I'm writing right now is about finding your passion, living the dream. So it is about that. The sooner you find in your life as to, in a general sense, what do you want to be or where do you want to go, that is good. But it also deals with people that at a later part in life, and some of them that I make references to and that have been interviewed at 40, decided this is really not what I want to do.
Right.
And they changed everything.
Yeah.
And then became very, very successful and are living their dream. And it's about those kind of things.
Yeah,
It's
love that.
coming out next July. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And I've read Against All Odds. I haven't read your ADHD book, but I look forward to it. I was counting on it. I said that on the way here.
You know, the amazing thing about ADHD is that, obviously I found out when I was 57, simply by walking into a store here on 4th Avenue. I was not very successful academically. I failed grade 3. Nobody fails grade 3, really. Right. And then I failed grade 7 3 times. So they said, what are we going to do with this guy? You know, we either send him, and I was 14 at the time, do we send him to the mentally challenged school or do we get him a job?
Wow.
And
I don't see that.
And so they got me a job in a furniture factory, and I became a furniture maker. And in fact, the school, this was the 3rd time I failed grade 7, and I came home, and again they said, okay, well, he failed again, so we're gonna have to do something. So everybody was going on summer holidays for about 3 weeks then, 4 weeks and maximum. And so my dad had a friend that had a clothing store, so he took me to his friend's clothing store and said, okay, I got you a job in the furniture factory. You start starting on Monday, and you have to drive down there about 10 or 12 kilometers on your bike. And so I had to get 2 pairs of coveralls, but they didn't have coveralls that for a little guy. I was fairly small for my age, and so I had to fold them all the way up, and then, and the crotch was hanging about here. That's modern now, but it wasn't then, obviously. And so that's how I kind of started, and then built my dream of, when I was working there, I, kind of felt a bit like a failure, and, and then started to live in my own mind about what did I want to do. Well, tell you a little bit more about it, but very appropriate right now because it deals with the, I was born in 1940, turned 82 just 2 days ago, I think. And then we were liberated by the Canadians in 1945, made such an impression on me. From that point forward, I always knew I would go to Canada, the land of my heroes. And then the other dream that I had is build a lumber mill, starting with nothing. And when I came here in late July 1965, couldn't speak the language, didn't know a soul, didn't have a job, one suitcase, $25.47 in my pocket.
Oh, I was wondering what that was there.
That's what it is.
I love it.
I'm just going to show it to the people that are watching this. It says $25.47, and then underneath it says, the foundation of my life, attitude, passion, work ethic. Yes. What follows? Success. Yes. So now. That's right. Now, and I'm going to give you a book, but I just want to show you the book that I'm going to give you.
Yes.
And then you have to tell me what it says on. This will become yours, and I will sign it.
Okay.
But what is the price of the book? Not for you, but can you tell me what the price of the book is? And if you look at the back, and tell me what the price is.
$25.47. Brilliant.
All of them are brilliant.
That is brilliant.
This will become yours. I'll sign it to you before you go.
I love it. That's a great cover. And with the book that I read, it was like, I really enjoyed it. And it was, you could make grading lumber sound very fascinating. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
So it was fun to read. Question.
Yeah.
When you first came to Canada, where did you go? I'm forgetting.
I landed in Montreal
Yes.
by plane, then took the train across Canada from Montreal to Vancouver. And when I came to Vancouver, I went to the immigration office, and fortunately there was a German fellow there, and I could speak some German. Yeah. And I told them what I wanted to do is I was looking for the lumber, and I wanted to build a lumber mill. And where should I go? He said, Prince George.
Right.
And there was July of 1965. So I took the bus down here.
Yeah, didn't you work in a bar or something, or you're a bouncer, or was there something like that?
Yeah, that is another. So so that it deals with, in a way, with. So if you start with 2447 and you don't have, can't speak the language, and obviously, then you're going to have to make money if you want to start a mill of some sort. How do you get involved? And so I worked for a lumber mill here as a cleanup man first, and then a lumber piler. Then I became a shift foreman, and then became a superintendent, all in 1.5 years.
Wow.
And then from there on in, I met somebody that was building a building there that had a sawmill in Watson Lake, Yukon. And
that's what it was.
They were looking for somebody to manage it because it didn't work well. And so I made a deal, negotiated a deal with them that I would get 1/3 ownership, and if I could manage the mill for 5 years.
Right.
So, being entrepreneurial, I think it was the summer of 1967 that I went with my truck and a U-Haul behind me and a sawyer, a guy that was very good in sawmill sawing, being the main guy, the sawyer. Took him with me. Had to pick him up in Prince George Hotel because he had a drinking problem, and it took me 2 days to talk to him out of there and go with me in my truck to Watson Lake. And then when I came to Watson Lake, I managed that mill, and then at the same time I was staying in a motel. Jack and Mac was the name of the motel.
Right. Yeah.
And then I got to know Mac. Now, what happened to Jack had died the year before, and he spent most of his time sitting on the bar stool and drinking.
Yes.
And then one day he fell off the bar stool, and then Mac was on her own, and she was managing the hotel, but she met Jesse, another very nice guy, and she kind of fell in love with him. Unfortunately, Jesse had the same problem as Jack had, and she didn't want the second one to fall off the bar stool, so she wanted to get out of there. So I made a deal with her, and the deal that I made with her was quite interesting, entrepreneurial. It's all in the book. Mm-hmm. So that, I said to her, I'll make a deal with you. I'll sell the motel for you if you give me a fee. And they wanted $75,000 to sell, but there was nobody who's buying. And so we negotiated a deal. She would give me a commission of $10,000 if I would sell it. She gave me a document and signed that. That would be, and then I created a company called Signpost Motel. I sold it to Signpost Motel, and then collected my fee, and then paid her, for the motel. So I was in business at the motel, and then. Now it was a question: how do I run the motel and make money so I can buy a sawmill, and then change the bar around? It was a lounge first, and started to create a cabaret in Watson Lake. It's all in the book, and I nearly didn't survive it several times, and I knew if I would stay there. There was 1972. My oldest daughter was born in 1971, and that. I knew that I would not survive if I stayed there. In 1 year, I had 2 knives pulled on me, a 30-06 and a handgun, and I knew I will not survive. And so I gave it all away for $1, and then started over again.
Yeah, I just remember reading it, and it was just didn't seem like something that you we're going through, but
yeah,
it does, it creates who we are, right? All these different experiences.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and then but it's very interesting. That then all being said, and I'm talking also about you. So so you got your education here, you went to school here,
Yeah.
then you went to several places, and then when did you really get involved in what became your life? Like now, what you are is. You're quite involved in movies and promotion and casting actors and actors. Tell us, how did this all start?
Well, so I was a dancer growing up and also a performer, and then I worked at the Keg, and I worked at, my first job was Earl's at 13 years old.
Amazing.
I was a bartender by 14 at Earl's. Times were a little different.
Yeah.
There was parrots on the roof, and there just weren't as strict of rules, which the rules are good now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I did that, and while I was still dancing and performing and doing musicals and what have you. And
working with Judy Russell as well.
Yes, absolutely. And I also with Bonnie Mathers.
Yeah.
And
her mother.
Yeah, and so then you just kind of get involved in different aspects of performing.
Right.
Then I became the marketing manager of the Keg, which really gave me a taste of doing marketing and promotions. And I've just always done those things. I moved to Calgary.
Came natural to you.
Yeah, it did, because I'm a real people person.
Yeah.
And so I love people, and I love to make people have fun and bring everybody together, right? So I always kind of joke that when you're doing marketing for a company like the Keg, your job is to get more asses in seats, right? And so, and how do you do that? You create fun.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
So then it just falls into different shows that I'd get involved with, and I moved to Calgary, and
now.
Yeah.
So you started. Now I remember that. And I don't know what I was involved in either Chamber of Commerce or something like that. And I remember that, we were trying to promote doing movies in Prince George, and that there was also a person involved, that Sarah Shack.
Yes.
Yeah, and that became involved, had limited amount of experience in it when she initially got involved, but then became...
Well, she became the, Sarah worked, I believe at first she worked for tourism, and then she became our film commissioner in Prince George.
Yeah.
And so that opened a lot of doors for her. So then, of course, the next step for Sarah was to move to Calgary, or Kelowna. I think she went to Kelowna first. Yes, and then she went to Calgary, and now she has a place in Calgary and Kelowna, and she has a studio in Kelowna now.
Yeah.
And so she was a really close friend of my sister's in school, and my sister, they're 2 years older than me, and so I've known Sarah since I was young, and so we would kind of just stay in touch, and over years, I mean, there was years that we didn't talk, but then of course when movies were starting to happen again in Prince George, we all kind of got together and got involved together.
Yeah.
So it was very organic, and it was really great. And so, the people who kind of made these things happen, and we're a big team, and so even though they're away, and but everybody stays.
So I
involved.
kind of try to remember the tourism was all part of Chamber of Commerce.
That's right.
In a way, and then one of the first movies here was the Deer Run or the Deer.
The Reindeer Games, but I think Double Jeopardy was first.
Okay.
Then
there
Reindeer
was some
Games.
high-profile individuals.
So that was Ashley Judd, and Double Jeopardy. They filmed that in Horseshoe Bay and here.
Right.
And then we had Reindeer Games here, which was Ben Affleck and Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
And then we had Dreamcatcher, which was Stephen King film.
Yeah.
And with Morgan Freeman and
amazing.
Big names. And so that was fun. I had a dinner with Stephen King and Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
And
amazing.
they're interesting characters, and I don't. I don't. No. And that was a time like we didn't have phones with cameras,
iPhones.
and yeah, I always think about that.
Yeah.
That, you know, we had it at Rick's Grill, which is was the restaurant that Sal had after the keg. So and so it was a very interesting dinner. I thought that Stephen King would be really crazy, and that Morgan Freeman would be very down to earth, and I found the opposite. I did find they were a complete opposite.
Yeah.
But that was great times. I'm going to go backwards a little bit from like before I got very, very involved with Mardi Gras here, right? And so I started doing the Mr. Prince George pageant when I was 16, and how I got involved is I would choreograph the opening numbers first, and then, you know, and then it just kind of built from there that I would get more and more involved. Yeah, so that's a lot of years
in the production side.
And then all the different events that we would do.
Yeah,
you know, like snowman building competitions, and we'd have like different, you know, bar things, right? That Mardi Gras would have.
Yeah.
And so it's really, it's like, it's something that Mardi Gras was a really big part of Prince George. Yeah. And so, and, you know, the people who were all involved in it, our board of directors were, you know, they were older, right? And so it kind of went away, which is really unfortunate. But I've kept Mr. PG alive.
Yeah. So which has been always part of PG, Prince George, even since the time that I got here.
Yeah, it's a really fun competition. Yeah, that we have, you know, people that are pillars of the community, and it's funny because there's so many people that I think, oh, I would love for them to do it, and they've already done it, and I forget that they competed 10 years ago. Yeah, and so like Dave Mathis, right? Yeah. So, anyways, and so. Right, but it's a really fun show, and they do a talent and fashion segment, and and then so this year we have Ethan Reddy that he won, and he's great. He's the voice of the Spruce Kings now. He worked for PGTV, did in sports broadcasting, and so and this beautiful girl Christine Midgley, who has the Today Show. Right. Mm-hmm. So.
What's happening now in regards to movies and all of that sort of thing?
So right now, we have, so actually on Tuesday, we had a movie that we did here, Meeting Mr. Christmas. It was released on Tuesday, but only in the United States. So we're doing a premiere. We're trying to just settle on a date, but probably the 25th or the 26th of November, we're going to do a premiere at the Prestige Hotel
of the
Meeting Mr. Christmas movie, and it was a really great movie.
Was it a U.S. company that did it? Or?
Nope, no. It was our company that did it. So and Photostar Entertainment is Kim Cardina, and then Trilight BC is a company that I own, and so we did this movie, and when we first did the Christmas movie 2 years ago in 2020, our lead actress was Laura Mitchell, and she wanted to direct, and so she sent us this script that she did, and it's great. It's a really good movie, so I'm really looking forward to being able to see that movie. Yeah. In between, we did The Way to the Heart, which was a movie about, like, it was a springtime movie. It was just a feel-good, made-for-television movie. Yeah. And it was really great, and it was all about
artists.
So our lead actors we generally bring from Vancouver. We don't really have. We have to follow by the union rules. So that's hard. We need more people to get more involved so that they can become union, so that we can hire more locally, because the union's very strict on us strictly hiring union people first before we fill any other spots with people who are not union actors. Right. And so it's kind of that we argue with the union sometimes where it's like, how are people supposed to get experience in order to become in the union if we can't hire them?
Is the chicken and the egg,
it's
right?
It's totally the chicken and the egg. Yeah. So how do I get experience if I can't get a job? How do I get a job if I can't have experience, right? So they allow us to do certain percentages of non-union actors, but it's, we have a lot of talent here in Prince George, and we have, the hard thing too is our crews. So we train all these people on site, right? Yeah. And then they move to Vancouver.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, so, because the market is much bigger.
That's
there,
right, and because we don't do enough here.
No.
Right now, I'm working on a documentary, and it's my first documentary ever. So we're just in the preliminary stages of it.
Right.
And it is a documentary on meth, on methamphetamine.
On
methamphetamines.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh
so,
my. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've actually gone into the tents downtown and interviewed some people, and it's pretty fascinating what we're learning with this addiction, and so like I said, we're just in the preliminary stages, but we're building our crew right now and deciding what directions. I think that it'll end up being a series, like a small series,
right?
Just because there's so many different aspects of it,
right?
And so, like, where did their addiction begin? And we're not doing it on heroin and fentanyl. We're doing it strically on meth.
Yeah.
So, but
I don't know that much about it.
No, well, this is why I think that it's it's a big problem and it's a big deal, and so. So, people who have PTSD and have ADHD often turn to drugs like that. Yeah. And so, it's we're learning a lot. And so that's, stay tuned.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're working on right now.
Okay.
We have, like, Sarah has been.
Does Sarah still work with you?
Absolutely. Yeah. I love Sarah. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's great.
And then most of the movies that you make here are in the northern interior or in Prince George region, or
so we try to keep it all here.
Right.
That keeps our budget really strict.
Yeah.
And so that helps us for the sales of the movie. We're balanced producers.
Yeah.
So we sell the movie before we make it.
Yeah.
So we know that the bottom line.
How does that work? Selling it before you make it.
So we have a distributor, and so, like, our particular distributor that we work with generally, his name is Igor, and he's out of Minnesota. Yeah. So he's got relationships with all the different countries. So say that Germany says, okay, we like the concept, we'll promise you that we'll pay $30,000 Canadian for the movie. That's what we'll promise, and then if it's good, right? It's a guarantee, and then if it's good, then we might offer more, right?
Yeah.
And so that's when Igor goes into negotiations.
Yeah.
Right? So he's good at that.
All
and
in
then
English?
He also has a I don't know. I don't know if they change the
because it makes me kind of wonder.
Yeah.
In Holland, if you show,
I would imagine that they would probably change language
or have
because voiceover is very common. Yeah.
Yeah.
So so I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah.
I've never asked that to Igor.
Yeah.
If they change that, I just know that they sell them that way. So that way we know that this is our budget and we can't go over. And of course we have investors, local investors that come in to invest in the project, and we keep their investment extremely safe.
Yeah, and obviously what makes it attractive to the investor, I presume, is that you already have a guarantee of some sort.
That's
so
right.
It is not kind of throwing a Hail Mary and maybe, you're pretty much for sure that it will be sold. And so now you have been doing this for how many years?
Well, like, for my, like, the most, I would say, so, like, going way back like 20 years ago, when I was involved with reindeer games and Dreamcatcher and what have you. That then it kind of went away, right? Because I was locally in Prince George, and then, you know, I had my son and you know, did just different things. So wasn't so involved in the movies, more in the promotion and the marketing and different businesses and then doing shows as well. And so then, like 4 years ago, we really started to bring it back and really working hard on bringing back and making Prince George, you know, a hub of the North, making, you know, Hollywood North, we want it to be. And so I do get a lot of different projects calling me and, you know, like trying to find out if it's feasible for them to come to Prince George to do their shows. And I think we're going to see a lot of that. And I think that we have created like a place where, like, we've made it attractive by showing these movies that we've made here and what we can do here.
Prince George is a unique setting, right? Because it has so many different potential in terms of settings all around, you know, and then as a city, you know, the
last movie that we made was called Cold Meat, and it's out of the UK. And so a production company or just producers, sorry, we were the production company, but from the UK, they came to Prince George and we made this movie with Alan Leach. And he's from Downton Abbey. He's a wonderful Irish man. And a woman named Nina Bergman, who has a resume very long. She reminds me of like a Mila Jovovich. And so she was just fascinating. And so this movie is in post right now, so it's still being built. So we filmed that. We actually turned the Hart Community Center into a studio. Amazing. And it was great. It worked very well. We had 3 cars in there, and you know, and like, because the whole movie basically took place in a car. This man abducts this woman, and so it's like, and so then we had to bring the outside elements to look indoors. A lot of green screens, stuff like that. But it was really great because we didn't have to, with our Christmas movies, when we move to all these locations that are outside, we don't know what the weather's going to be like. When we were filming Meeting Mr. Christmas, it was so warm. I would have the city had to truck snow downtown for me, and the city was so great that way.
Did you have to get artificial snow?
No. Okay. They would take trucks of snow from Connaught Hill, because Connaught Hill's closed in the winter. So it's fresh snow. So they just truck it in, and then we try to make it look. But real. It was so warm out, and it was so hard, right, in February. And so, I mean, it was great because we weren't all freezing outside. Well, you're outside for 12 hours, but and we moved so many locations with those movies. So us doing Cold Meat, we filmed out of Pilot Mountain Road for our outdoor stuff. We'd used the salted cracker for a thing, and the salted cracker looks like a lonely diner, and it up in the heart, and it was so nice. And like, so it was really, that was a really neat movie to make because it's a feature. It's going to be a big deal,
right?
In Europe,
And it's interesting to see that that one is made for Europe. There must be a lot of marketing that goes into it. That, you know, they must have a pretty good idea that it will sell well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And they partner with like the production company there. They partner with a distribution team that's very large because it's a feature. And so then they would do, once it starts to come out, they'll do a press junket. They announced it at Cannes and Film Festival, right? And announced it this past in March at Cannes Film Festival. And then
So is that something like Netflix or whatever they call it?
So
because I see you know, the my wife watched a lot of Netflix or something, and my God, there are so many movies that.
Well, this is it. Like the best places for us to have some, like a movie go, is Netflix or Amazon. Right, Amazon Prime. Like those are big streamers, And so they pay a lot of money for, this is why it's kind of hard to, like when we're casting, it's sometimes really hard to find the talent because everybody's busy, because there's so much going on.
Yeah.
So it's like really hard to, but that also draws people here.
Yeah, yeah.
Like because everything's so busy, it's like they would like to bring, here we're not as busy, and so we can free up people and places and locations, and our locations are always so kind. It's crazy. It's so wonderful.
Very
like Vancouver,
in
Vancouver, they're like, how much are you going to pay us? And you know, like you need to, and it's really, it's not as fun of a transaction as it is here. Everybody's excited here, and it's not, and the excitement's not going away.
Yeah, no.
You know,
even after that has been part of Prince George already for quite a while.
Yeah.
So where does it go from here? You think that it has potential as Hollywood of the North? Will it increase? And will there be enough stories? And
there's always enough stories.
Yeah.
And so
fictional or real?
Either or.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Right. So the content, it's just, you know, like people are, anywhere I go, people are like, I have an idea. I have the best movie idea. And I'm like, okay, write it.
Write it, yeah. So does it come, where do they all originate? Is it books or is it stories, or how does it all happen? So people's
life experiences, and then, so, you know, like if we were going to make, say, one of your books into a movie, right? So we would have a professional writer that would write a script, and
do we have those here locally? Script writers?
Not that I'm aware of. But we have some that are not far. Like I have a really great script writer in Edmonton. She's great, and so she's really good at interviewing people and really getting their, you know, like the reason why the book is better than the movie is because it's your imagination. Yeah. So when you're making somebody's book into a movie, you need their imagination. Yeah. You need their vision. Yeah. And so she's really good at asking the right questions to get their vision. Yeah. So that's somebody that's always busy as well, right? So that's right. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, and it's not crazy expensive to make a book into a movie because she's professional. She does it like quickly, right? So and for those people that aspire to you know, have their story written or already have wrote, how does that work then? Do they get a commission, or do they part of the, like the writers? Yeah. The writers would get a fee, and generally that's it. Yeah. If the writer is more involved with the production side of things, then they might get a percentage of ownership, which would come from residuals of the film. Yeah. Yeah. So it's usually small for a writer, like maybe 1%, 1.5%. Yeah. Interesting business. Yeah,
you become a bit of an expert in it because you've been in it for over 20 years, and you know, it's a specialty field. And then especially like you know, with Sarah, you know, when she was first starting all of this, that must have been 20 years ago too. Oh, right? It was over 20 years ago. Over 20 years ago. Can you believe that? And that's where, like, I would never call myself, there's so much to learn about the industry. And so Sarah is closer to an expert, obviously, than I am. But I learn a lot from her. And she's you know, she's a smart cookie in that way, because she's done a lot of things. And being a film commissioner, she actually moved and was a film commissioner in Kelowna, and I believe in Calgary as well, but those aspects of things, it's like she knows her stuff, and so she actually just finished a movie, or it's filming right now with Richard Gere in Ontario. And who's he again?
Richard Gere from Pretty Woman.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. And
then she just did a movie released. It's called Meet Cute, and it's Pete Davidson and Kaylee Cuoco from Big Bang Theory. So they just did this, and I don't know if it's out yet. I have the trailer. Sarah sent me the trailer, but that's a big movie. So Sarah's doing some really big things. And we want to do a football movie here that Sarah's with Marshall Cook, he's from Los Angeles, and Will Sasso, who's from Ladner.
Okay.
Will Sasso is a big actor, and he lives in Los Angeles now.
Okay.
But it's a really fun.
So
It was written by Marshall Cook and another gentleman, I think his name is Tyler, but it's also, the Fairley brothers are involved with this script and producing. And the Fairley brothers did Something About Mary, they did Dumb and Dumber, right? So this movie kind of falls into that, like, it's funny, it's really funny, and it's a football movie. So we're trying to, the hard thing is getting the star. So Will Sasso would be the dad of the football player, and then we need, like, so we were looking at Vince Vaughn, and Vince Vaughn was actually really considering coming, and then we found out that he didn't vaccinate, and so we couldn't get him in the country, which, you know, that's his choice, but we couldn't, right?
Yeah.
So that put a pause on things, and then there's been some, but we need that big star for the king of cars is who he'll be, and he's the stepdad, and so there's they have a very competitive flag football team, you know, like the beer league hockey guys here.
Wow.
So, you know, so it's really competitive, their flag football.
So the whole thing around movies has become much more popular since Netflix, Amazon, and all those. I think even Disney, you know, all of them are doing movies now, and the amount of movies they need is ever so much increasing, right?
That's right.
So the stories. So.
And the thing is that, like, the movie industry is $1 trillion business, but it's actually growing, right? It's not. You know, even though we've gone through, I mean, COVID was really hard on the industry.
Yeah.
And then, like, at the beginning of COVID, and then it actually made things easier. We realized that we didn't have to all be in the same room to have our meetings to prep.
Yeah.
We could do everything over Zoom. We could do everything, you know, like, and so it actually made things speed up, and that's lucrative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And same as everything else, right? Communication has become altogether.
That's right.
Podcasting, like we are doing, this is seen around the world. You know, instantly, like hopefully by, which mostly is the case, by tomorrow this will be available on all the major medias, and can be seen around the world just like that.
Yeah.
Nearly live, you know, and it's changing more and more.
It is, and it's awesome. It's really.
So that, you know, and I still remember you and me talked. I forget now when it was, in what setting it was, but every so often we run into each other, and then we talk, and you know, so.
We're usually fundraising for something.
Yeah, probably, yeah. So what else have you been doing? Is your main focus now on that part of your life?
Yes, no. So I actually am working with hospice right now.
You run the store for hospices.
2 stores,
and now you're becoming the manager of hospices?
So for the resale stores, right? So I manage the resale stores, and then I do some fundraising with them as well. Yeah. I'm doing, I'm dancing in the Boogie with the Stars. Yeah. For my second time. I did it in 2014.
I did it once too.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. It wasn't the same year that I danced in it, but I danced for Janet Holder at the time because she fell ill, and so I kind of came in last minute. Yeah. And so, but it was great. It was a lot of fun. A big fundraiser. Yes, right? It is. You know, I always remember the one year. I forget now if it was 2018. Yeah. Or so. Hey, Scott. Yeah. Was it the same? 2016. Yes. 2016. Did you guys dance the same year? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. 2016. So anyway, that was a fun year. Yeah, it was a fun year. There was a lot of that year. There was a lot of friendly banter, if you will,
Yeah.
like this competitive. I loved
Yeah.
it. Watching on social media, and everybody was
Yeah.
like, you know,
I was
doing
dancing
fitness
with
competitions.
Paz.
Yeah, Paz is beautiful.
Yeah, and she was good, you know. So
She's
we
so
practiced, and I want to win. No,
Yeah.
I'm just okay. But you know, we took it very serious. So we.
Oh, I remember your dance.
We're practicing.
Yeah.
I looked like a cool dude. I had
Yeah.
this chain around,
Yeah.
and I like you know. So
Yeah, it was fun.
so
Do you want to do it again?
with you.
No, I have a partner, but I do have a beautiful partner, a beautiful girl that needs a partner right now. She was supposed to dance with Ziki, who was my partner in 2013, but he unfortunately is not going to be here now, so we're trying to find her a partner.
Yeah, no. Unfortunately, I won't be here because it's New Year's Eve.
Yes, it is.
And so so what we were doing then is we were hoping to raise about $30,000
Yes.
that evening, and so by the time all the money was counted, it was $90,000.
That's right.
We
Yeah.
raised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and we've been doing some fundraising like this because of COVID. It's been canceled.
Yeah,
like
it was, yeah.
for a few times. Then there was the idea that we wanted to just maybe televise it.
Yeah.
And it's not the same feeling.
No, it's not the
so
same.
we were like, no, let's not do that.
No.
Because you don't have an audience. You don't have that, you know, like the excitement.
Well, it's a special evening for one.
Yeah, it is a special
It gives
evening.
people to go out and then for
It's
a
a
good
beautiful
cause.
evening.
Yeah, it's
right?
beautiful.
It's like it's a beautiful dinner. It's
Yeah.
a beautiful night, and it's
And
a lot
real-
of fun to watch. And you know, and then like the competition part is over by 10 o'clock, and
Yeah.
so then everybody gets to dance and ring in the new year and have their champagne
Yeah,
toast.
yeah.
And
So-
it's my wedding anniversary on New Year's.
Oh wow!
Oh,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah.
No, so that's that special thing to it, right? So
Yeah.
but hospices has been, you know, very very well organized, very well managed in all the areas that they do, and you know, and so we've been very involved in the home building and all of those things for about
Yes.
5 years.
Yes, and hospice is near and dear to my heart and so many people's hearts. So coming and being on the team in the capacity that I am has been wonderful and very rewarding. I love every minute of it.
Yeah.
And so, and just working with hospice, all the people that work with hospice, like every different, you know, personality there, that everybody has their different roles, and everybody's so well suited for their roles.
Yeah.
And then everybody's so kind and wonderful and works so hard. And
Amazing
it's
team.
it's such an amazing team. And Donna Flood is just, she's
Yeah.
a dear friend of mine,
Yeah.
and she just does such a great job.
So committed, right?
And she just knows how to motivate and how to like, and has incredible ideas. And
Where is the store again? They were at one point they were going to move.
So so we have the store that was opened in 2009 is up in McGill, which is in College Heights, and it was the building's tired, but they just paved our parking lot, which is dreamy because I have a very small car in the summertime, and I thought the potholes were going to eat my car.
Yeah.
And then so it's like a long time coming that these potholes were so large in this. And so then we have a second location that's only just over a year old.
Yeah.
And that's at Tabor Plaza. And it's right at the back side of Tabor Plaza. And that's where
Just trying to visualize that.
it's where Tabor Arms Pub used to be.
Okay.
The pub was on the back side.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's a great thing. This, like, I learned a lot. I was never a big thrifter. I was a big shopper.
Yeah.
But the treasures that come into these stores is amazing. Thrifting is very, it's like really becoming more and more common because there isn't tons of shopping. A lot of places have closed. People shop online.
Yeah.
And then, you know, there's bargains to be had. It's like, and our stores are beautiful and clean, and we get some really nice stuff for, you know, very
of all
inexpensive.
descriptions, right? Not just clothes.
No, we have everything. Like, so the things that people don't think of is like, if you're going camping, right? Then we probably have all of your camping supplies.
Yeah.
If you were, so one thing is like, if you were going to a dinner party and you're going to make a dish for like a casserole or something that you're going to bring, well, why wouldn't you grab, it's like our dishes, you can buy a dish for really inexpensive, make it in there, and then leave it for the host, right?
Yeah.
So then some of these are like, my girlfriend actually did that, made a salad and brought it to my house and bought this green 70s salad bowl, and it is my favorite bowl in my house. It's so fun, right? I love to serve salad out of it now.
Yeah.
So there's just so many different things and ideas.
So for the people that are watching, that if they have surplus goods, whatever they are, they can contact the store.
Yeah. So we take donations like every day, and you can do up to like 4 to 6 bags, however large they are, because we can't take, a lot of times when people are moving or they have a garage sale, then they bring us the stuff that didn't sell, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But sometimes there are things like that are broken or whatever, right? So that's more of a challenge then. It is. That sort of thing makes it a kind of a challenge. But you know what? We have a great team. Our girls
all volunteers mainly?
No, we have mostly staff, but we do have incredible volunteers.
Yeah.
And we're always looking for more volunteers because and they have a lot of fun. And like for instance, like university students, if they're going into a medical program or something, they have to do so many hours, and so of volunteering. And so so they can volunteer for hospice.
Good
a lot
idea.
of people really like to go and volunteer for hospice and go into and bake and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think that it's more fun to come and work in the resale side of things, because you get to go through all this stuff, and it's actually really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have a great group of girls that are really sweet and kind, and one boy.
Yeah.
We like more boys.
Yeah. More volunteers, or
Well, no, we have one guy, Sarmeet, that it's just like he's our only guy that works at the stores, and we just don't get a lot of male, and I think that it's so fun.
Okay, guys, make sure you listen to this,
and then we also need some burly guys that can lift furniture, because we get donations of furniture. But we have, Mandy and Heather and Leslie. They are pretty tough girls.
So you're staying very, very active in all of those things. And anything else you're doing right now that keeps you active as well? You've always been quite involved in the community in a number of areas.
That's
I know
right.
that.
Yeah. And so this is all keeping me pretty busy, right? Between the dancing and then the stores, and then the documentary. Yeah. That's I'm pretty full. My husband is a big hunter, and so I was mentioning his sons, who are my boys. They're twin boys, Lindsay and Liam, and so it's a busy time at our house with deer hunting now.
Yeah, so they go.
Yeah, they've done the moose now. They're deer.
Yeah, so they just love it, right?
Yeah,
so.
My husband does a big buck contest. And he gets a lot of donations. Yeah, where these local hunters can kind of compete with, and they get their. And then my husband also does taxidermy, and he also is a meat cutter too, not by trade, but he does it so because we have a big shop where. So for these hunters that he can process all the stuff himself, and for friends and stuff, and he does. He
helps them with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he helps people fill their freezers.
Yeah, and he has been working at Canfor for a long time in town, or.
Yeah, so he started with Canfor at, I think, Isle Pierre, and so this year is his 32nd year.
Wow.
He's going to retire June of 2024.
Okay, that's not all that far away.
And then we're possibly going to, he might work in the States, in either Georgia or Alabama, because they're building mills down there.
Yeah, Canfor is,
Canfor is. Yeah. So they need people And I was hoping Georgia, because then maybe I can work with Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
He's huge there.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to start sending him messages. And I'm coming in 2 years. Get ready. I'll be there. I'll work on all your projects.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about?
I don't know. I think that
we covered a lot. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you.
I'm looking forward to
I'm going
this.
to sign you a copy, and I may have to get. So anyway.
I wanted to ask you. So how about your training, and how is that going?
It's good. I'm training.
When are you competing?
I was going to start competing at the end of this month, at November, and I think it's a little bit too ambitious. So it probably will be in January or February, and then I still want to go to the Arnolds. And
yes, that's exciting.
I did that in, let me see, in 2017. I qualified for the the nationals as well as the Arnolds, and and then obviously COVID came, and for 2 years I didn't do too much training.
No.
And I started again.
I don't think
about
anybody
7,
did.
8
I think
months
everybody
ago.
did a lot of eating and drinking.
Yeah, I don't think too much.
No.
But and then so I started training again about 7, 8 months ago. I was actually talking to Kendall this morning. We were training and saying, "How I must have been training for about 7 months." She said, "No, 7 or 8." I said, "Oh my God, I can't believe it."
Yeah.
So I feel pretty good, and
Good. You look great.
I want to work a little bit longer and then start probably competing again January, February, and then probably BC. I'm fairly sure that I will. Not too many guys in my category, then hopefully we'll qualify for the nationals. I'm 82.
I think you'll be great.
Yeah, and
It's phenomenal that at 82
I love it.
you're doing this. I know you do.
And then I want to
so
go
great.
to the Arnolds. So what
and
we
it's
did
so inspiring.
and then so what we did is Scott got a shirt from Arnold's that he has, and so I was wearing one, and then we posted it while I was training, and showing off muscle, and then kind of challenged on that particular posting Arnold and saying, "Hey Arnold, I'm going to come to the Arnolds, and let's go compete together, or let's work out together." The second response on that posting was Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he said, "I'll see you in Ohio. Let's stay in touch. We'll work out together."
See, isn't that's the greatest thing about social media, is that it brings, people always go, it's a small world. Well, with social media, it's a very small world, and it's wonderful, right? Because it really brings people together, and you get to...
And I think, I don't know how many postings we had on that. How many were it? 80,000, 90,000? Yeah, something like that, postings on that.
Yeah,
Lena,
that's great. Thank you.
Give you a copy of the book.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
it.
I will. I'm looking so forward to it.
Thank you for being my guest.
Thank you for having me. I do want to say one last thing, and I was just, because you brought up Kendall.
Yeah.
So, when we're dancing, and Kendall's dancing with her beautiful boyfriend. Is he a fiance or?
Tyler.
Yeah. Anyways, so I'm dancing. This is with my daughter. Yeah. And so hasn't been done, and so I just thought that would be
beautiful.
Yeah. And so we're really looking forward to it. And, we're in it to win it. I want to say that to Kendall.
Good.
Even though Kendall and I are on the same team, right?
Yeah.
So we really are.
Yeah.
And so she's so cute.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how I could
amazing trainer.
Oh, she's so adorable. I love her.
Yeah. And we've been friends for many years.
Yeah.
So when she was, I think, 17, and then I kind of helped her, sponsored her for the BC competitions.
Yeah.
For her for bikini and me for bodybuilding and physique, and So she was the youngest. I was the oldest. I was 77 at the time when I competed, and we both won and placed in the nationals.
Right. Yes.
She came in tops, and I came in second bodybuilding, third in physique, and so it was kind of. And then obviously now again, she is my trainer and. Amazing lady, and and a beautiful person.
She is. She's just so sweet.
But she can kick ass. I tell you that.
I know that, and that's why I was gonna do that little shout out, because I'm 20 some odd years older than her, so not as in good of shape.
But yeah, well.
But I'm going to work on it.
Oh no, you look fabulous.
Thank you.
But Kendall, she. If you saw me working out, she pushes me to the limit.
Yeah.
That's where I want to be.
That's right.
So she's very appropriate for me. And then, especially at 82. And the other point about it is that, I want to die old being young. And the one way to do that is stay fit mentally, phically.
Do you take a lot of vitamin supplements, anything like that?
Not all that many. I take some.
Yeah.
On the weekends I go to North Saanich, and my wife feeds me hands full of vitamins. It is.
Of course she does.
Are you trying to kill
great.
me?
Yeah.
But
are you sure these are vitamins?
Yeah. So, and I take care of myself. So
I know. Well, you can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love it.
And we see it.
Jana,
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it for my guest.